Beruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Chavtes Amud Beis, starting with Chavtes Amud Aleph, 11 lines from the bottom. The Gemara brings back a statement from Rav. Says the Gemara, Gufa, Omar Rav ma'arvin b'shtei revi'iyos shel yayin. One can make an Erev Techumin with two revi'iyos shel yayin, one revi'is for each seuda. Umi ba'in and kulihai, asked the Gemara, do we need so much wine? Two revi'os? V'hatanya. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar oimer, yayin kedei le'echol boy. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says in this brisa, enough wine to soak your bread in for 2 meals. Choymeitz kedei le'tabel boy. Enough vinegar to then soak or to dip your vegetables. Zeisim ubetzolim kedei le'echol behen shtei seudos. Olives and onions in order to then eat together with bread 2 seudos. So you see from this brayso, you don't need 2 revi'os of wine, just enough wine to soak your bread for 2 meals. Answers the Gemara, Hasam bechamra mevashla. This brayso that says enough wine to soak your bread in for 2 meals is referring to wine that was cooked, wine that's yayin mevushal, but wine that you will drink, that you need 2 revi'os. 1 revi'is for 1 suda and 1 revi'is to drink for a second suda. Says the Gemara, bringing back the previous statement, this brayso, Marmar choymeitz kidei letabel boy. It states that enough choymeitz to then be metabel, to go ahead and dip your vegetables. The Gemara says, Omar Rav Gidol Marav kidei letabel boy mozon shtei sus shel yerek. If it's going to be enough choymeitz to dip 2 seudos that you would have completely of yerek, that's the amount that we're talking about. There's another version that says, Omar Rav Gidol Marav, yerek hanechal b'shtei seudos. If you're going to have yerek that's going to be eaten with bread in 2 seudos, that's enough then vinegar you need to then dip the vegetables in. Omar Ma, the Gemara brings back the third statement in this brayso that we just quoted. Zeisim ubetzolim kedei le'echol behen mozon shtei seudos. Olives and onions together with, to be eaten with your bread for 2 meals, that will be enough to make your Erev Techumin. Ask the Gemara of Betzolim mima arvin, can you go ahead and make an Erev Techumin with batzal, with onion? Vehatanya, it states in the following brayso, Omar Shimon ben Elazar, Pa'am acha shovas Rabbi Meir ba'ardiska. Rabbi Meir was spending Shabbos in an area called Ardiska. Uba'odam echol lefonov Omar loy Rebbe, Eravti bebetzolim letivin. This fellow, he lived in a certain place that was too far beyond the tchum of the area of Tivin where he was headed towards. And therefore, he was kind of shvisa with betzolim that was 2,000 amos from that point. For example, he lived, let's say, in a place where it was 4,000 amos away from this place called Tivin. So then he was kind of shvis 2,000 amos. Let's say that place was to the west. So he was kind of 2,000 amos with batzal to the east. That was where he made his Erev Techumi. Now he has another 2,000 amos where he can get him to Tivin. In the middle of that area was an area called Ardiska. And he met Rabbi Meir in Ardiska. And he said to Rabbi Meir, I made an Eruv with batzal. V'hoshivoy Rabbi Meir ba'arba amos shelo. And Rabbi Meir, he sat him down in his arba amos, meaning to say, he was already beyond the tchum, and therefore he could not rely on the Erev Techumi that he made with the batzal. So therefore, asked the Gemara, how can you make Erev Techumin with batzal, like it says in here in the brayso? Answers the Gemara, Lokasha, ha be'alim, ha be'imahos. That which we said, that Rabbi Meir says you cannot make an Erev with onion is because it's talking about leaves of the onion. That's what he made it with, and that's not going to be valid. But the onion itself, that you can make your Erev with. The Tanya, ocho batzal v'hishkim umeis eino mimameis. If a person eats onion and he then goes to sleep and gets up early and then dies, we're not in wonderment why he died. That which we're talking about, that we're not surprised that he died, is because he ate the leaves of the batzal, of the onion, and that's going to be dangerous. Uba'ali nami loy almaron elo deloy abatzil avtzil zirta aval avtzir zirta les limba. Here the Gemara on top of Chav Tes Amud Beis says that which we said that is going to be a problem to eat, it's detrimental to eat the leaves of the onions. That's so long as it did not grow a size of a zeres. But if it did grow the size of zeres, then it's no longer harmful. And that which you said is detrimental because it did not grow a zeres is saying that he did not drink beer afterwards. But if he does drink beer afterwards, it won't be harmful. The Gemara says in the following brayso, a person shall not eat onion because of the nachash. Nachash boy, the Mefarshim explain. Some Mefarshim explain that this is referring to the inner part, the core of the batzal, where there's seeds. Umaise b'Rabbi Chanina, the Gemara tells over she'ochal chatzi batzal v'chatzi nochash sheboy v'chol v'nota lomus. Rabbi Chananya, he ate half of a batzal of an onion with half of this nachash sheboy, and he fell ill and was on his and he was turning to death. Ubikshu chaveirov racha mimalo v'chayo, and his chaverim davened for him, and he was able to then still stay alive. He lived as a result of their tefillos. And the Gemara adds over because the Shah needed him. Hare, the Gemara, the Mefarshim says in other places that chaverim are mispalil for their comrade, and they, as a result of their tefillos, give him life. They save him from the onset of death. And that doesn't say anything about why over here does it add these words? So Farshim explained because here we're talking about Rabbi Chanina ben Doiso, who's the Baal Maisim. And it's usually that he is the one who's davening for everybody else. And therefore over here, we need his tefillos. Specifically, they davened, and Mipnei Shashot Tzrichaloi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu then had rachamim on him and saved his life. Rabbi Zeira, Shmuel. Rabbi Zeira's name was Shmuel. Sheichar ma'arvin boy upoisil es hamikva b'shloishes lukim. He said two statements. He said that it comes to Sheichar, Aleph, you can use it for your Eruv Techumin, and Beis is going to posel a mikvah with shloishes lukim. We know that a mikvah has to have 40 saw of rainwater, and those 40 saw of rainwater afterwards, you can have other water that will be mixed in, but it has to be initially a 40 saw of rainwater. If you have 3 lugin of mayim she'uvin that is mixed with these 40 saw before it becomes 40 saw, it makes all of the other waters to be considered mayim she'uvin. So it's poisel es hamikvah. So here he states that the sheichar also has the same property as water, as mayim she'uvin, to be mixed with this amount of 3 lugin that will poisel the mikvah. Maskif l'Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana asked the following pshita. That's straightforward. V'chima bein zeh l'meit seva. Disnan Rabbi Yossi Omer meit seva poislin es hamikvah b'shloishes lugim. What would be the difference in sheichar and colored water? Colored water, we know, the Mishnah states, is going to poisel the mikvah with sholosh lugin. So why would that be different when it comes to sheichar? Oma amrei hasam. The difference is because there, the colored water is still called water. And therefore, it's poisil gimel lugim b'mayim she'uvim. It's water. But sheichar might think that since it's sheichar, has a different shame, a different name, so although it's water-based, it's not going to posel the mikvah with gimel lugin. Kamash Milan, it does. Ask the Gemara V'kama Ma'arvi. Now that we stated in the name of Shmuel that sheichar you can use to make erev techumin, what is the amount of sheichar that must be used? Sova Rav Acha b'rei Rav Yosef kamei Rav Yosef lemeimar. Rav Acha, the son of Rav Yosef, said in front of his father, Bas betrain revoy shichra. He said the amount of 2, which is 2/4 of a kav of sheichar, 2/4 of a kav. Each quarter of a kav is 4 lugin. So a quarter of a kav would be 1 lug, and 2 quarters would be 2 lugin. So it has to be 2 lugin of sheichar to make the eruv valid. And now he explains how he came to this conclusion of 2 lugin of sheichar. Kidisnan, it states in the Mishnah, Hamoitzi yayin kidei mizigas hakois. It says in the Mishnah that one who then mixes wine, the wine used to be very potent, so they had to mix it with water, and one who takes out that mixture, what called mizigas hakois, on Shabbos, from one reshus to another reshus, or even daled amos, the reshus harabim, will be chayiv chatos for a malach of hoitzah. V'tani lo kidei mizigas kois yofe. And it's taught on this that what kois are we talking about? Mizigas hakois of yayin. It's called a kois yayin yofe. My kois yofe. What is a kois yofe? Kois shel bracha. The kois shel bracha that one makes birkas hamazon on, when one makes kiddushin or pidyon haben, other things. This is the kois that we're referring to, which is a revis. V'om Rav Nachman, Amar Rabbi Baravua, kois shel bracha tzricha sheyeboy roiva revis, kidei sheyimzegenu v'yamod al revis. And he explained that the kois that we're talking about has it entirely. In totality, it's a revis, but it has 1/4 revis of pure wine, and the other 3 parts are water, which has an entire cup of a revis. This is the kois shel bracha that we're referring to. Ukiderava, the Omar Rove, kol chamra deloy dori al chad tlas maya lav chamrahu. Any wine that is not diluted with 3 parts of water is not considered to be wine that you make a bracha on. Viktani Seifa, and the Seifa of the Mishnah we quote in regards to Hoitzah on Shabbos, in the Reish it states that you need to carry a revis of yayin, that's a kois, which is mazug, 1/4 of one part of wine, a pure wine, 3 parts of water. That's what's going to make a person liable for carrying on Shabbos. And the Seifa now teaches Ushar kol hamashkin berevis. And when it comes to all other mashkin, other liquids, other drinks, including sheichar, then the amount is 1/4 of a kav, which is really 1 lug. Similarly, when it comes to shoifchin, mayim shoifchin is referring to that water which is not drinkable, that is poured out. That also would mechayiv a person if it's a 1 lug for hoitzah. So now he makes the following conclusion: midahasam al chad arba, from the fact that over there, in regards to hotzah, we say that when it comes to wine, we said it comes about to be 1/4 of a kav, which is 1 lug. Sorry, which is a revis, which is a 1/4 of a lug. That's when it comes to yayin. Again, yayin we said is a revis, a cup that's going to be a revis, which comes out to be a 1/4 of a lug. And when it comes to the sheichar, we said it's a 1/4 of a kav, which was really 1 lug. So it comes out to be a ratio of 1-4. The yayin is 1, and the sheichar is 4. Hochanami al chad arba. So too over here, in regards to the inyan of erev techumin, when it comes to yayin, we said on Amud Aleph that Rav taught us that 2 revios of yayin are necessary for a erev techumin. So we take that and we say 4 times that amount. And again, each revis is a 1/4 of a lug. So then you have 4 times half a lug, which comes out to be 2 lug. And that's what he said is the amount for erev techumin for sheichar. The Gemara says velohi. The Gemara rejects this calculation. He says hasam hu de batzir mehachi loy choshiv. There regards to carrying, and that's where he then based his whole calculation on. The idea of carrying yayin versus carrying sheichar on Shabbos, that needs a shir chashuv. Less than that shir is not chashuv in regards to yayin, in regards to sheichar. But over here, aval hacha de loy avid hacha loy hacha loy de avidi inchi de shasu kasa betzafra the kasa bepanyo the samchi lavayu. Because over here, sometimes it's enough for people to drink 1 kois in the morning, meaning by 1 suda, and 1 kois in the evening by another suda, and that's the amount that's enough for erev techumin. So therefore, over here it would be much less than 2 lugin of sheichar in order to then make your Erev Techumin. Says the Gemara, Tamarim Bekama, when one makes an Erev Techumin with Tamarim, with dates, how much? Now we saw that on Amud Aleph, Rav taught us, and it's also a Mishnah that he based himself on when he says V'chein le'eruv, that he said that when it comes to groigerus, dried figs, the amount is an entire kav. So ask the Gemara, how much by tamarim do you need to make a erev techumin? Omar Rav Yosef, tamarim bekav. He said equally, just like groigerus is a kav, he said tamarim is also requiring a kav. Omar Rav Yosef mina minala. Where do I know to say that tamarim dates require a kav? The Tanya, achal groigerus v'shilem tamarim tavala brach. Here it's talking about a person who was a non-Kohen who ate truma accidentally b'shoigeg, and he ate groigerus and repaid it. He paid back to the Kohen with tamarim. So it says over here, when he pays back with tamarim, tavoy alav bracha. Ask the Gemara, hey chidam, what case are we talking about? If you're going to say that he ate a zuz of groigerus and he paid back with a zuz of tamarim, my tavala bracha, what is the expression tavala bracha? Bezuza acha bezuza kamashalim. He accidentally ate one zuz and he paid back with one zuz. So what is going to be the significance that he did something so great that's tavalav bracha? He just repaid back what he took. Elalav lefi mida the ocha mine griva the grogeres the shavia zuza. Is it not that he then took a measurement and ate the measurement of a grogeres that was worth one zuz? The kamishalim le griva the tamarim the shave arba, and he paid back that same amount of tamarim that was worth 4 zuz. So then we understand the expression v'tavalav bracha, v'ktani tavalav bracha. Alma tamarim adifa. So Rav Yosef concludes from here that tamarim are more valuable than grogeres, than dried figs, and therefore if dried figs is enough for your erev tchumin to make with one kav, then certainly tamarim would be enough with one kav. Omar le Abai rejects this. He says, no, it's not so. It's not that we say that the tamarim are more valuable than the grogeres. In fact, the opposite is true. Really, what we're talking about over here in this case, where the non-Kohen ate the truma accidentally, is talking about where he ate indeed one zuz and he paid back a zuz. If that's so, my tava bracha. Answers the Gemara, the ochal minei midi de la kofitz alei zvina, v'kamishalem le midi de kofitz alei zvina, because he ate that which he ate that customers are not in lack of, and therefore they don't jump over. So even though he ate a zuz of the grogeres, but he paid back with a zuz of tamarim. So although it's the same value, but tamarim are harder to come by, and therefore it's considered to be tava alav bracha. So it comes out, according to Abaye, that indeed, if you're going to make an erev techumin with tamarim, you would have to make it with more than one kav, because grogeres is sufficient to make with one kav. But since grogeres is more valuable, according to Abaye, than tamarim, you'd have to have more than one kav if tamarim to make an erev techumin. Says the Gemara, shesisa. Shesisa is a mixture of dried, roasted grain, of flour, roasted flour with honey. And it says over here, Omar Rav Acha bar Pinchas, Trei Shargushi, the amount that you can use for your Erev Techum of Shesisa is 2 spoonfuls of Shesisa. Kisani, this is also roasted tvua, roasted grains. Omar Abai, how much can you use for your Erev Techumin, for roasted grains? Trei Buni de Pumpedisa, the measurement of 2 boini of the area of Pumpedisa in Bavel. Omar Abai, Amar Li'aim, Abai, whose mother passed away while giving birth to him. So he's referring to the lady who raised him. He says, she said, Hani Kisani. He quotes her as saying, Hani Kisani, this Kisani, these roasted grains. Malu lelibo mivatli machshavta. They are good for the heart and they do away with bad thoughts of daiga, of concern. He also quoted her as saying, if a person has a weak heart, he should take the meat of the thigh, of the right thigh of a ram. Then he should take the dung that fell in the month of Nisan. The ileka kibui derisa. If he doesn't have this dung, laisi sugyane de arvasa, then he should take twigs of an arava tree. And then he should then make coals out of either the dung or these twigs, and then he should cook the meat on it. And afterwards he should drink wine that is diluted.